U.S. ATACMS missile deployed in Ukraine. The end of Putin? The United States would cross a red line and become a party to the conflict if it opted to give Kiev longer-range missiles, the Russian Foreign Ministry said on Thursday. Russia reserves the right to defend its territory, said Maria Zakharova, a spokeswoman for the Foreign Ministry at a briefing. Washington has openly provided Ukraine with cutting-edge GMLRS rockets that can reach targets up to 80 kilometers, 50 miles away, and are launched from HIMARS launchers. The possibility of selling the new system to Ukraine is still up in the air since it relies on whether Russia and the West will no longer be reluctant to engage in direct conflict by the time the system is operational in 3 years. Officially, the U.S. had objected to transferring the ATACMS to Ukraine. The Defense Department said on Monday that Lockheed Martin Missiles and Fire Control, Grand Prairie, Texas, was granted a $77,420,000 for the acquisition of 54 precise strike missiles. The Defense Department further stated that Lockheed Martin is anticipated to finish the contract work by September 30, 2025. By April 2020, the system has successfully passed 3 testing. The wheeled chassis and launcher from Lockheed's still-in-use high-mobility artillery rocket system HIMARS were used for all of the firings. This capacity to function without modification to crew training, launching, or loading procedures was reaffirmed in the animated film produced by Lockheed Martin. It is also compatible with a tracked vehicle that carries a larger launcher for the HIMARS rockets and the ATACMS, the M270 Multiple Launch Rocket System MLRS. The missile is seen in the Lockheed Martin promotional video looking similar to the current ATACMS. The sole launcher, in contrast to the ATACMS single tube, has 2 sizable launching tubes, which is a noticeable distinction. It is unknown if the launcher will be somewhat altered to accommodate 2 tubes for the PRSM. It's interesting to note that the launcher has 6 tubes in the front and back, indicating it is carrying HIMARS rockets, even while it is carrying the original ATACMS. When the missile is transported inside the vehicle, its true nature is hidden by the phony design. The video demonstrates how an F-35 locates an enemy air defense systems and then transmits the targeting information to a HIMARS launcher via a Combat Air Operations Center and a Field Artillery Brigade. 2 PRSMs are subsequently launched by the launcher, one of which detonates over the SAM site in an airburst mode with preformed fragments in the lower right corner. A video insert concurrently runs that features real test footage of the missile exploding over a fortified bunker. Its distinguishing characteristic is its range, which uses it to eliminate tactical battlefield objectives like troop assembly, air defense systems, staging sites, and command and control centers. According to a U.S. Army representative who's been mentioned, the PRSM has already shown that it is capable of flying much beyond the 400-kilometer limit. It's interesting to note that the U.S.'s decision to continue developing the PRSM was made possible by the U.S. and then the Russian withdrawal from the Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces INF Treaty in 2019. At the Airspace Cyber Conference in November 2019, Brigadier General John Rafferty of the U.S. Army's Long-Range Precision Fires Cross-Functional Team LRPF-CFT remarked, "The INF Treaty constrained Russia and the United States, but now we are getting the respite from the 499-kilometer constraint. The INF Treaty outlawed land-based ballistic missiles, cruise missiles, and missile launchers with a 500 to 1,000-kilometer range between the 2 countries. Another feature is the open modular architecture, which permits internal systems to be quickly replaced or modified to suit different missions or simply periodic upgrading. It is claimed that this feature makes the missiles less expensive than the ATACMS. The cost of the missile per unit has not yet been specified. The Strategic and Operational Rockets and Missiles STORM Project Office, Lockheed Martin, and the LRPF-CFT conducted the PRSM's nominal tests. These especially looked at things like warhead detonation, target trajectory, and egress from the launcher. In September 2021, the U.S. Army issued the initial Early Operational Contract EOC, which covered the research, engineering, manufacture, and production of the missile. Will the United States send PRSM to Ukraine? President Joe Biden refuted providing ATACMS to Ukraine out of concern that Ukraine might use it to attack targets within Russia, escalating the war and bringing the U.S. into it, something his administration had previously stated it did not desire. Nearly the whole south and east of Ukraine was first controlled by Russia, who later held referendums to incorporate them into Russian territory. NATO, Ukraine, and the U.S. may not recognize the referendums as a result, but they will have to acknowledge the political reality of Russia's territorial claim as reality. Although Moscow claims it does not want to get involved in a war with Europe and NATO, Russia acknowledges the high costs of doing so. It also threatens to target decision-making centers that provide Ukraine with weapons but refrains from actually doing so. This is so because any attack on a member is seen by NATO's Article 5 as an attack on the alliance. Additionally, it relies on the state of affairs in 2025. With this, we conclude our video. We appreciate you helping us keep it going by watching. The best way to support our channel is to watch another episode. Thank you for tuning in. To ensure that you never miss an episode, please subscribe to the channel.